Today's update may be one of the most significant reports released this year because the information circulating among banking contacts, financial analysts, and regional economic observers suggests we may be entering a period that could reshape the system in ways many have predicted but never seen. For more than 10 years, talk of a revaluation for the Iraqi dinar and a potential strategic adjustment for the Vietnamese dong has echoed across forums, investor groups, and financial circles. But as we step into 2025, the tone has shifted dramatically. What once sounded like scattered speculation is now being supported by synchronized reports, banking system movements, and noticeable internal changes that are catching the attention of professionals. In this extended news-style briefing, we'll break down what is being reported, why these developments matter, how they could affect global currency markets, and why some analysts think we may be approaching a moment that could alter the economic landscape. Stay with us until the end for the full picture, because understanding the context behind these signals is more important now than ever. The current atmosphere surrounding the Iraqi dinar feels different from anything seen before. For years, updates would come and go, often vague and lacking substance. Now, however, reports are emerging about internal banking systems adjusting placeholder values for the IQD in ways that are raising genuine interest. These are not public exchange rates, nor are they visible to regular customers, but they resemble the types of internal tests banks often run before significant changes go live. According to analysts familiar with these processes, placeholders are used to test liquidity modeling, conversion reliability, and compliance readiness. While no one claims this confirms a date or guarantees a public rollout, the timing and consistency of these reports have shifted the conversation. The pattern appears more structured than in past cycles, prompting many to believe Iraq may be entering a technical preparation phase that previous years never truly reached. One of the numbers being widely discussed is the idea of an internal test rate near the 4.04 range. This figure is not public or official, but it is generating attention because test rates often reflect benchmark values that align with long-term economic objectives. Iraq has long held immense natural wealth, particularly oil, but years of conflict and economic disruption kept its currency undervalued. Now, with increasing financial discipline, ongoing reforms, and modernization of the banking system, some analysts argue that a stronger currency fits Iraq's long-term vision. Historically, Iraq's currency held significant value, and many economists believe that as the nation continues to rebuild and stabilize, a stronger dinar would help the country reassert its position in the Middle East and global trade. The heightened attention on internal tests is directly tied to Iraq's recent reforms. Over the past few years, the country has introduced major changes, tightening anti-corruption laws, restructuring the banking sector, expanding digital payment networks, and aligning financial systems with international standards. Government leaders have openly stated their intention to see the dinar strengthen in the future, emphasizing that the currency should reflect the nation's economic potential. When a government aligns public policy with monetary goals, analysts naturally pay closer attention. Combined with the recent banking movements, these reforms have created a momentum unlike previous cycles. It's clear that Iraq is aiming to reintroduce itself to the global financial stage in a stronger, more credible way. One major development contributing to this shift is Iraq's push toward a digital dinar. Unlike cryptocurrencies, central bank digital currencies are government-backed systems intended to increase transparency, reduce corruption, and make financial transactions more secure and efficient. For Iraq, moving toward a digital currency signals readiness for greater integration with international banking frameworks. Analysts note that such systems streamline cross-border transactions and strengthen international trust. When combined with reports of internal rate testing, many believe the digital dinar is not merely a technological upgrade, it may be part of a broader strategy to position Iraq for a potential future adjustment in currency value. Iraq is not moving through these reforms alone. Multiple global institutions and advisors have been working with the country to help update financial infrastructure, enhance regulatory transparency, and bring banking operations closer to international compliance. When countries prepare for major currency or economic transitions, aligning with external partners is a crucial step. Iraq's recent commitment to improving foreign exchange operations, strengthening oversight, and modernizing financial tools indicates the country is preparing for deeper participation in global markets. Whether this translates into a revaluation is still debated, but these are foundational steps that typically precede substantial monetary changes. Turning to the Vietnamese dong, Vietnam's economic path is very different from Iraq's but still central to conversations about future currency movement. Vietnam has grown into one of Asia's most dynamic manufacturing hubs. It has strengthened foreign reserves, attracted international investment, expanded trade partnerships, and played an increasingly important role in global supply chains. Despite this growth, the dong remains low in value, something many analysts believe does not fully reflect the country's economic strength. Vietnam rarely makes bold statements about monetary plans, but its steady economic progress has led observers to consider the possibility of a controlled currency shift in the coming years. Some believe 2025 is a pivotal point in Vietnam's long-term economic roadmap. Vietnam's approach is often described as patient, steady, and strategically paced. While Iraq is moving quickly due to rebuilding efforts, Vietnam has been building its economic strength gradually over many years. It has entered new trade alliances, strengthened foreign reserves, and encouraged digital payment systems. Each improvement aligns with a long-range plan aimed at transitioning Vietnam into a more competitive global economy. Because of this, analysts who talk about a potential currency adjustment are referring to Vietnam's documented trajectory. Any change would likely be planned and measured rather than sudden. Some long-term observers often mention the possibility of a dual shift, the idea that two undervalued currencies might strengthen around the same general period, though not through any coordinated plan. This concept is based on the historical tendency of regional economies to adjust in clusters when trade dynamics shift. If Iraq improves its financial position and currency strength, investors may shift attention toward other emerging markets such as Vietnam. This could encourage Vietnam to accelerate certain reforms to maintain its competitiveness. While nothing is confirmed, analysts say the possibility is worth watching because global markets often respond to regional changes in waves. These discussions are gaining traction now because global currency dynamics are changing. Many countries are seeking less dependence on dominant global currencies and more economic independence. Nations with strong natural resources or booming industries want their currencies to reflect their true economic power. Iraq, with its oil wealth, and Vietnam, with its expanding manufacturing base, are perfect examples of this trend. Analysts believe the world is entering a phase where undervalued currencies may begin reclaiming value as countries seek greater financial balance and representation. To understand the reasoning behind the speculative 4.04 internal test rate for Iraq, analysts highlight the disconnect between Iraq's natural wealth and its modern currency value. With some of the largest oil reserves in the world, growing gold reserves, political stabilization, and increasing foreign investment, Iraq has strong economic fundamentals. When compared to countries with more valuable currencies but fewer resources, the imbalance becomes clear. Some believe that if Iraq continues its modernization progress, a stronger currency would not only be logical but possibly necessary for its long-term economic vision. The internal test rate being widely discussed aligns with this thinking, according to many financial observers. Reports of bank screens displaying test values, though unconfirmed, are a major reason analysts think a shift may be approaching. Banks perform these system checks to ensure software, liquidity models, compliance rules, and international transfers can handle new values. These tests are not done casually. They are typically initiated when changes are expected or being prepared for. While internal movement does not signal immediate public changes, similar patterns have occurred in past currency adjustments worldwide. This does not confirm what will happen, but it does suggest that the process is progressing behind the scenes. The Iraqi government has also contributed to rising expectations. Officials have emphasized the importance of strengthening the national currency as part of broader economic goals. When leaders publicly address currency value, it often signals active policy discussions. Iraq has deepened international cooperation, increased transparency, and taken steps toward becoming a more influential economic force. These moves point to serious groundwork being laid. When combined with digital currency development, the direction appears intentional. Timing remains one of the most speculative aspects of the discussion. Analysts note that many governments prefer to implement major financial changes around the beginning or end of fiscal cycles. This has led some to believe a shift, if it occurs, may align with such windows. However, timing predictions have always been unreliable in IQD discussions. Analysts stress that reforms and system upgrades set the stage, but they do not guarantee the final moment. What is certain is that Iraq is preparing its infrastructure for possibilities that were not technically feasible years ago. Vietnam's timing is tied more to ongoing economic milestones than sudden movement. Many observers point to 2025 as a year where trade expansions, digital upgrades, and export strategies intersect. The global economy is moving toward a more diversified monetary structure, giving nations greater control over their financial futures. If both Iraq and Vietnam strengthen their currencies in the same broad period, it could represent a shift toward a more multipolar financial world. The idea that these events could flip the entire system is based on real changes happening right now. Iraq's preparations, digital advancements, banking tests, and economic reforms are clear. Vietnam's rising economic power, expanding partnerships, and steady modernization are equally evident. Whether this results in major adjustments or gradual strengthening, both countries appear to be heading toward stronger economic futures. The coming months and years will be crucial, and we will continue covering every credible update, every confirmed policy change, and every major development as they unfold. Stay informed and stay prepared, because the global financial system may be entering one of its most transformative periods.